Okay, I decided what I really needed over here was somebody that was a jigsaw puzzle master. I have been working for some time now trying to figure out the best combination of things on a shelf and an order and whatever. So I finally come up with this. This is all just a dry fit into the box. Nothing is bolted down. So I finally came up with this configuration. I think this is going to work pretty good. So what I've got is my HF radio right here, the tuner right here, voltmeter right there, the dual band UHF VHF radio right there, speaker, power supply, SWR meter, and another speaker over here. And then this top rack that I have fabricated, that's those holes right there. That's where the phone jack is going to go for the headphones, and CW. Something I'll probably never use, but it'll be there nonetheless. So this is the configuration that I have come up with, and I think it's going to be pretty workable. So now it just comes down to, oh, might add that these speakers, the original speaker that I had, the size that I had, just would not work. It was too big, so I could not get everything in there with those speakers. So I measured the speakers that I had in my Big Go box, and they are the perfect size so that everything fits in. So I cannibalized that to put those speakers in here, and when I get the new speakers for the ones that I ordered, like I said, I only had one of that other size, and the other ones that I'm getting I think are a tad bit bigger than it even. So I'll put those back in the Big Go box. There was enough room in there, so that should be fine. So now it is on to some fabrication. Got to make some brackets and drill some holes and get out the industrial Velcro and start putting this thing together, and hopefully when it's done it'll still look like this. Oh, one other thing. This voltmeter right there, that's one that I've had, and it does a good job. This is another one, PowerWorks meter, that gives me a lot of good information as well, and so I'm kind of, I think it actually will give me more information than this one will. So, but the difference is that the one that is sitting in there now is illuminated, so in a dark environment you will not be able to read this one. You'll have to put a flashlight on it, and this one it'll be easy to see. So I'm leaning toward the one that's illuminated over the one that is not. Okay, let me get to fabricating and we'll get back in a little bit. Here is the rack that goes in the back of the box, and I have now fabricated a tray for the battery to go into. Here's the battery. Let's get a little bit of a close-up of it. This is a valence battery. It is the lithium iron magnesium phosphate battery, and it is a 40 amp hour battery weighing in at just a little over 14 pounds. So compared to a AGM type battery, going to be much lighter, and actually is only just a tiny bit heavier than the 18 amp hour battery that I have in the other box. So this thing should give me about 4 times as much power as the 18 amp hour battery does for pretty much the same weight. So like I said, here's the tray that I have fabricated. So let me put the battery in and show you what it looks like. Okay, there's the battery all mounted in the rack, in the tray. So this is the back side of the battery, the one that no one will ever see again until it's time to take that battery out, which based on indications should be a very long time unless something else drastically goes wrong. Okay, now let me put it into the back of the box and let's see what it looks like there. Okay, there it is in the back. Everything fits nicely, pretty tidy, so I'm very happy with that. Now I need to put in a few more things. I've got looked on the email just a little bit ago, and I've got about 4 or 5 items coming in the mail today. Should be here very shortly, and I can keep moving forward on putting this thing together. Well, when I get the mail in and have more stuff, we'll get back to you. Okay, everything around the back is all buttoned up again. Everything is back in its place, all put together. So now let's walk around and look at the front side and see how that turned out. Okay, I am back working on the new Go box again. You probably are thinking, well, this video must be out of sequence because I had it all put together in an earlier video here. And you would be correct. It was all put together, but this one is not out of sequence. What I am doing is installing that meter right there. It's going to hopefully give me a lot of information about what's going in the battery, what's going out of the battery, what's being consumed. So it should just give me and also hopefully the remaining charge in the battery. That's something I don't have. With the lithium battery, as I've said earlier, it keeps pretty well flat voltage all the way out until about 95% of discharge, and then it goes over the waterfall and crashes. Well, hopefully this meter, according to the instructions, can be calibrated to say, all right, it's fully charged, you got a 40 amp hour battery, and then it will give you the discharge percentage on it. So I am wiring that in, and since it connects to a lot of different things to take readings, I had to pull it back apart, and yes, there is a rat's nest of wires here. Well, let me get to it and start putting this thing together, and I'll be back in a little bit. All right, here's the front side. Got the 891 FTM or FT 891 Yaesu radio, bottom right hand corner. On the bottom left hand corner is the FTM 400, the LDG tuner in the center, and just above that is the new meter. Now, for those of you that are a little more observant, that's not the same meter. I worked and I worked and I worked, but I just could not get that original meter that I had showed you to function properly. I don't know what the problem is. It may be the fact that it is trying to read for a AGM style battery, and I've got lithium in it, and it just can't compute that. So anyway, it just did not turn out the way that I was wanting it, and so here you go. So the way it's set up right now, the meter, it's in the center just above the tuner. That one will read my use of the battery. That's going to be the discharge from the battery and how much I'm consuming. So all the power that's being consumed. So I figure what that should allow me to do is it resets every time I turn it completely off. So if I've got the battery fully charged up, I should be able to look at the total amp hours that are used and kind of judge from that. The meter on the top, the blue one, that one is going to give me how much current is going into the battery. So right now you can see that it is being charged with 0.22 amp. The FT891 for HF on the bottom, the LDG tuner, the meter in the center and the bottom is going to read my power consumption, and the radio to the left is my dual band, the FTM 400, and there goes the ID on the radio and the clock up there. There's the clock telling me that it's 5 o'clock now. The meter on the top, the red one, that's from my power supply, and the one on the right of or left, yeah, the right of that is the how much is going into that battery and the current state of that battery. All right, there you have it. So I'm going to call this a wrap. I've got a couple more tidy up things to do, like the rat's nest of wires in there. I want to go in and kind of zip tie and route some of that and make it a little bit neater. And then also the LED lights. I want to put some lights in it so that I can do that. All right, so other than that and putting some labels on things, I think this project is just about done. Now we need to go out and have some fun. Stay radioactive.